Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for watching On the Town. I'm your host, Tanya, and I'm back again. Yes, I know it's unusual, but sometimes we get artists from all over the world, and you got to do what you got to do. So it's early, but I hope you guys will listen in and learn something new about somebody new. So today's guest is a British Australian comedian. He's a writer, musician, and an actor who's been pretty much rocking and rolling in the UK circuit for about 3 years now. He's also the host of the Reckless Comedy podcast, which will be celebrating its 1 year anniversary in May 2021. So that passed March, April, May, right? Okay, so please welcome, give a round of applause for the lovely Kim Nash. Hey, Kim, what's up?
Yeah, it's good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you. It took a while to make this happen because we're on two different time planets here. But thank you so much for taking the time. Appreciate it. How's it going over there in the UK with lockdown and stuff?
It's still a bit of a shit show.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, our government don't know what they're doing.
No.
They never know what they're doing. But it's slowly starting to ease. But obviously, in Europe, this third wave kicking in, everyone's sort of like, oh, another lockdown's happening. And it's like, are you not used to it already? Like, we're just coming out of the third one. You know,
your third wave. I forgot how many have we had.
I don't know.
I want to say at least three.
They're pulling mutations out their ass right now.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. First of all, are you one of those conspiracy theorists, or are you just like, okay, just hurry up and get this damn thing over with?
Yeah, I'm one of them people. I'm just like, cool, another lockdown, cool, more depression, cool.
Right, it's crazy. I mean, I know it's happening. But they keep coming with these contradictions that are killing me right now. Killing me. Oh, wear your mask. Nope. Oh, after months, almost a year. Oh, you should wear 2 masks. I'm like, so what happened to all those 9 months that we were wearing 1? So I'm just tired. I'm tired. Then they tell you get the vaccine. It's definitely gonna save your life. And if you get it, you won't get as sick. So I know some people who got the vaccine and they got sick. Really sick, which is fine. If that's what they want to do, I don't care. But just now, if you're a non-vaxxer, you're going to be treated like a plague. Literally, everywhere you go. You cannot fly. You cannot go to school. You cannot go to college. You can't do it. Or you can't go to work. I'm like, oh, gosh, stop. Just stop.
In terms of like masks, for us, we were really late to the game getting people to wear masks. We didn't make it mandatory until like, I think June, July, maybe August. It's
really?
That's how bad our government were. They were like, no, you can wear a mask if you want to. You can wear a mask.
Well, didn't he get COVID first?
Down. They just went, right, wear your mask, otherwise we're fining you. And it's like, why didn't you do this months ago?
Why didn't he wear it, Boris? That's why he ended up with it.
Exactly.
He's like, I got a little bit. I got a little bit of COVID. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? You see, Trump got it. I mean, everybody got it. It was like crazy. Yeah. But hey, I mean, and it's funny. It's like, I don't know. The people that I want to see in ICU never end up there. It's like, what the hell? What's going on here? The people you don't want to see are the ones who end up there, and you're like, no way. It's just not fair.
100%. Yeah.
Whatever happened to friggin' karma? Anyway, so you've been performing around the pubs and nightclubs. It says in bandstands. Thanks to COVID. So what's going on with that? Are you still since March? Show me a picture of you've still been performing nonstop, or it's become a structure now.
So if we go back to March 2020, when about a couple of weeks before our lockdown first kicked in. I was still doing gigs, and everyone was sort of making jokes about COVID.
Right.
Sort of like, oh, it's the coronavirus. Someone get me a bottle of Corona.
Yeah,
it's just we weren't taking much notice of it.
Right.
And then as soon as lockdown came in, for me, I just shut down. I didn't do anything. I didn't do Zoom gigs, because back then Zoom gigs was sort of souping down to a new low level.
Yes, that's what they say, which I stoop to.
Yeah, and then it wasn't until about probably mid-June when outdoor shows started popping up here and there. And at first I was sort of like, is it too early to start doing but then I just caught the bug, ironically, from there. And then it weren't till, I think my first proper indoor show after the first lockdown weren't till like September.
Okay.
So, and even that was like really social distanced. Like for performers, we had to wear a mask around the whole building.
Right.
When we were on stage, everyone had a mic each. And there was also like a line on the floor as well. So we were told not to step over that line. I did one venue where they just put a table on stage and they told us not to go past the table. And it's like, yeah, but this table's bloody huge. What part of the table are we not allowed to go past?
That's crazy. Wow. You did better than we did. I know when it first started, a lot of comics like you making jokes and, you know, like you're like over there in the UK, they're making jokes and oh my God. And they were still out. Do you know how many comics died from this? A lot every year. A lot. To me, a lot, meaning it's only a hub of about maybe, let's say 5,000 of us, maybe. Let's make that up in that little city area, right? So with that many comics, as many that I've seen died, I was crazy. But I was like, I had one girl, she was on a mic on a Zoom and she was, yeah, I got COVID. And I was like, dude, like you're acting like it's casual, but you know, somehow or another we make it through. So then you were still able to do a little performing. When did it actually stop? Did it stop?
Well, I think for me, like I say, after the first lockdown, I just stopped doing like as many shows as possible. You know, I just sat there, went, you know what, I'm gonna take this time to recharge.
Right.
You know, and then as soon as this whole thing's over, I'm gonna come back as
stronger
and as strong and as much faster as possible than I were before. And then obviously outdoor shows, there was so many limitations.
Yes.
Like, you know, everyone had to stay 2 meters away. Some of the shows didn't even have a PA system. Wow. So obviously we then have to shout. But then the disadvantage of that is
so spread more COVID.
Shouting. Yeah, that's the disadvantage. They tell us not to shout, but then we have to shout. Right. You know, one of the venues we did, it was like this big amphitheater outside, and you know, you've got audiences 360 degrees. So not just have we gotten used to looking forward and seeing the audience forward, we then got audience to the left and to the right. So we had to like move around as much as possible.
Oh my gosh.
So some people that I know, they just started comedy and then went straight into outdoor shows, they just broke down because they just couldn't. And obviously with hecklers as well, you know, if you're getting heckled from the front and the sides, it's a lot harder than in a club where you can see, you know. And
it's crazy. That's crazy. What are some of the things that you did to perfect yourself, I guess, or your craft for when lockdown was over? Like for me, I did my podcast. I was doing everything. Blogging. I was YouTubing, making sketches, everything. What were you doing to keep yourself busy as a comedian?
For me, I think it was mainly my podcast, which started up actually during lockdown. The way it started out was I got so bored. I just went, right, is anyone interested in doing a podcast? And I got about 3 comics to come on the first episode, and it just shot up from there. Like I ended up getting a co-host in America who, you know, has got connections, and it's just like I'm still taken back by it now, even a year in. You know.
Now, is that Alter Ego? Was that made? What's the name of that one?
I got so many alter egos.
Oh, well, not which personality, but which one? Because I know you have quite a few, which I was going to talk about. You have, let me see. Tell us about what is it? Alter ego being Chase Brody.
Okay, so Chase, interesting. Yeah. Chase is a best way to describe it, or as one of the performers in our improv night described him as a psychopathic, very scary movie director who doesn't know his lines. So by that, he's very shouty. He's very sort of in your face. And his backstory is that he was working as a movie director in Hollywood, but then Hollywood, because of his anger, said just get out. You know, he got blacklisted from Hollywood, so he had to resort to running an improv troupe on Zoom. And Chase doesn't like it. And it's funny because playing that character, I'm not that sort of person. I'm not that sort of person that will shout at someone.
Okay.
Unless someone shouts at me back, then that's just the fight or flight instinct.
Right.
But Chase Chase scares me, and I'm the one playing him.
That's pretty scary then. And what's an anti-killer internet virus hybrid?
Okay, so Anti, as we call him. Anti is a very sort of the best way to describe him is, as you said, an internet virus hybrid. But with him, he doesn't show up a lot. But when he does show up, he does some really weird things. Like he does vocal weirdness. He crawls around on the floor. He headbutts walls, tries throwing himself at windows. And the noises he makes is sort of it strains my throat every time I do it. It's that's why I don't do it much anymore.
It's like what's that music? Not thrash metal, where they scream.
Oh yeah, I know what you're on about.
Yeah. That reminds me of like a Sid Vicious meets that guy. So and who's Marvin? The terrible.
Marvin. Oh, that's my favorite. No, that's my favorite.
Oh, is he your favorite?
Yeah, he's my favorite to play because he's out of Chase, Anti, and Marvin. Marvin has probably had more involvement in any project ever. He's the amount of shows we've dragged him into. So Marvin is a magician who can't do anything. He can't do the basic card trick. He's very similar to Chase. The original idea was that Chase and Marvin are both twin brothers. It's a cheap way of us saying it's the same guy playing the two characters, so that's why we've done it. But Marvin is very similar to Chase. He gets very angry very quickly. And some of the things we've dragged Marvin into, he's tackled the nativity story. So me and one of your previous guests, Michael Monkhouse, me and him wrote that. Things went badly. Marvin destroying the set. Marvin being an alcoholic, which was interesting.
Very interesting, especially in the UK. Hello.
Yeah, I know, right?
I know when I was there, I haven't been down in like 8 years. I'm gonna actually have to go back soon. And it's funny, but back when I went, that's like 8 years ago. My kids and I, we were my friends, and my daughter's godfather lives there, and it was hilarious because we'd go into bars and like kids would be in there, and I was like, why are the kids in a bar? Like, this is weird, but they got some mean ass fish and chips. Let's go. So it was okay, but it was weird to see that. I was like, do you know where I come from? A kid in a bar will catch you a CPS charge like quick, It's like everybody here is gonna get charged. Everybody, you get a charge. You get a charge. Like when Oprah on them, you get a charge. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So they describe you as unique, crazy, energetic, and unpredictable.
Yeah. That's mainly because of the alter egos. Like you don't know which one's gonna come in. But briefly going to Marvin, the most recent thing that we've dragged Marvin into, once again with Monkhouse, I have to give a lot of credit to Monkhouse.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome.
But one of the things we recently did, and we did a preview of it last night, was Marvin the Magnificent presents The Last Days of Christ. So we're tackling the Easter story. So as you can imagine, with me and Michael being the writing team behind it,
oh Lord,
a lot of things go down. Even on my skin right now, I've still got sort of
goosebumps.
Leftovers of what happened. It just involves me being covered in a lot of fake blood, dragging myself along my own floor, and then quite literally the wall behind me, I have to crucify myself to the wall.
Oh my gosh! So it's like Linda Blair. What is that? Sybil? Sybil, is it Sybil? The head of the person? No, not Sybil. What's the character? The head shaking and stuff. What's her name? Oh my gosh, the girl with Linda Blair with all the blood and the Exorcist.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's a part of him or her. Of her.
Yeah, it's crazy, and the fact that there's a funny story with it. When we first wrote the show, originally we wrote it as an 8-person show.
Okay.
But then as soon as we sent the script out, we got the biggest rejection. Pretty much everyone dropped out.
Do you think?
It was a mix of people saying, "Oh, I'm Catholic. I get
sacrilege."
And it's like, well, don't sign up for it. We're taking the mick out of Christ.
But wait, here's another contradiction, right? Here we go, right? So
know,
they're
right?
mad. They're mad about that, but they're not mad. And that was a Catholic priest came out. I don't know if he did over there, but he came out over here and said, Monsignor or whoever he was, said to Catholics, do not take the Johnson & Johnson because it has 40-year-old dead baby embryo in it. So it's like, okay. And then of course they made him retract that. So he came back and says, okay, if you have to take it and it's the only one you can take, all right, no problem. So it's like, I think God will take one for the team of creativity. Why not? He'll be like, I understand. We need Kim Nash to get his whatever out. So he has to do these characters. Go ahead. You get it back.
The thing is with Last Days of Christ, the funny thing is, when I first took the idea to Michael, his initial reaction was no, he didn't want to do it originally.
No, but neither.
That's saying something, you know Michael. He'll
know
anything. And he said no originally, but then we started writing it a bit more, and he went, you know what, just go for it. And yeah, it's not often you get to drag yourself up a wall covered in fake blood, and get to crucify yourself to your own wall.
I think it's hilarious. Listen, after COVID, that sounds like a scene I'd be in. I'd be like, oh, just get it up with. Let's go.
Someone did actually suggest, like, would we try doing like Marvin's Last Days of Christ in like a real venue? Really? And I just slammed it down straight away and went, no venue would allow us to do it. Like, not even like a non-judgmental venue would do it.
Not in the UK.
Just viable. It's not viable like financially, and also it's not viable the amount of time we'd have to put into it. Me and Michael spent 10 hours writing Last Days of Christ over 4 days.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. That's crazy. So you've been getting into more sketches too, because that's what we've been doing over here. I've noticed a lot of people, and thank God for the internet is all I can say. Hello. Thank God for StreamYard. Thank God for whatever the other platform, Zoom. I mean, we've been really doing it. Even some of us are not techie, but when you write sketches, what do you like better? Actually going up and doing stand-up, or writing a sketch and expressing something that you've been wanting to get out?
This is the thing. I come from a sort of acting background. I was an actor before I became a comic. Oh. So when I do like sketches, I always sort of fall back on the acting side of like me. Uh-huh. But stand-up and sketches are just two different things together. Like, you could easily blend stand-up and sketches together. That's sort of what Last Days of Christ is. It's a mix of stand-up and sketch. Okay. But I will always prefer like anything creative, really. Like, as long as I can use my talent to make people laugh. Like, yes. If you enjoy seeing me covered in fake blood, pinning myself against a wall, you need to get help.
Right. Well, you're the typical comic. We're like stage horse. I mean, that's basically what we are. We can't.
Like, I think Michael puts it best. He's a whore, but he won't do it for sex.
Right. Well, that's so funny, because this is how you really know. When it was lockdown, before lockdown, I started my quarantine mic, I called it, but I started it before lockdown happened. And just because I had a sense that something was going to go on funky. And I had been suggesting to comedians for 2 years up in my area, because I live so far, 45 minutes from the city. So I was like, this sucks. Sometimes you don't want to go to mic. And quite frankly, I think mics are quite boring. I think the people doing stuff is just, it's all, DIC jokes. I can't. I cannot. And then I was experiencing a lot of racism in Westchester. A lot of the not the venue itself, but the people putting the event on. They would have comics that come in that say things like, "Oh, black people. I'm going to rename Planet of the Apes, Planet of the Black People." And I'm like, that shit's not funny. That will get you an ass whipping. Not funny. So I said, you know what? Why am I putting all this? Letting these people anger me, put it into something else. So I started the quarantine mic, and first nobody would come. Then I had some people come, and now I just have somebody that we shoot sketch ideas with every Monday. And I invite people to come, but some don't. So I said, we don't care. We are busting out these sketches like what? To the point where I'm like, I'm ready for a TV show now. I'm ready. We're ready. We got enough sketches. Let's get it going. So I think the lockdown has been good for us. all of us, and I am a comedy whore, because when the lockdown happened, I was all for the Zoom. Most people were not. They were like, comics were like, I'm not doing the Zoom. To this day, I know some who've never done the Zoom. They're like, they refuse. And I said, well, good for you. You do you. I'm doing me. Don't judge me, because I'm a creative. That's what I do. I can't sit at home like this for freaking a whole year and not do anything. Yeah. No, I'm not. And some people were out actually doing shows even during the pandemic, which I commend them for, but I was like, I'm not that desperate. Nor am I not desperate. What's the word? I'm not that much of a whore.
Yeah.
In person. I'm an online whore, not out in person, So what else? Let's see. Something else I saw here, alter egos. And so you're acting, how's that going since the pandemic? That's right.
To put it bluntly, I've not been on stage since January 2020. So we've been off stage now for ages now. We've done shows,
right.
Like did a couple of Zoom stuff, but even all of us just weren't we were in the mind frame for it, but right. We were also not. And we just keep saying to the director, oh, please, can we get back on stage? Originally, we were supposed to be back on stage back in July last year, but the show just got cancelled even before tickets went on sale.
Wow.
We just didn't know how uncertain it was going to be.
Yeah,
and then we were sort of like, oh, we might get back on stage for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
That ended up in the virtual thing, but it was a blend of people. We had a mix of people being live streamed live,
mm-hmm.
and pre-recorded stuff where I think I spent 2 days on some private garden, just talking into a camera, being 2 meters away, a one person in, one person out system.
Okay.
And we're hoping to be back on stage at this moment in time.
Uh-huh.
We're hoping to be back on stage fully by Christmas. But we've got I think it's once again a semi-virtual, semi-real life show coming in July.
Mm-hmm.
So
did you get as I had tried to enter this contest, which was brilliant. You had to write a screen. Is it called screenplay? You had to write a play. Excuse me, for Broadway that only involved 3 actors because of social distancing. And it had to be about COVID. And I came up with a brilliant freaking screenplay, and then they had some dumb thing to submit it, and that I didn't see, and I was like, I'm not doing that, so I didn't submit it. So I have this great thing because everything I try to do now, I was still thinking in the mind of lockdown.
Yeah. And
just in case, so I'm like, how would this work if you had to do it through Zoom? Can it work? Or I try to think like that, but. We do the best we can. I'm glad our theaters are open back up in New York. Woo. Not at full %, but it's opening it back up, I'll say next week or sometime. I don't know. Very soon. So that's exciting for all the Broadway actors. Did you do any movies? Any movies that were on the big screen?
No, I'm not that far in my career yet. But if anyone's watching, please do.
That's funny. My son-in-law is a movie producer. That's so funny. In Hollywood and in the UK. But that's interesting. So don't worry, it'll be back eventually. Actually, he hasn't been out of work since March at all. He's been still, but it's all fall on Zoom. So whatever, they'll figure. But what else? Anything else you've been up to? What else have you been up to?
Writing a show that just bashes the Son of God.
It's
been a mix of all sorts, I think, over the last year. Obviously, the podcast is the most predominant thing.
Yes.
And I do have to thank everyone for the support on that over the last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was so much fun. And it's still is.
What do you use over there? Do you have free platforms? Because we have Anchor, anchor.fm.com. It's free. Yeah. Anybody can use it.
We started out on Anchor. We started off on Anchor, and then we slowly went from being distributed by Anchor to Google, iTunes, Spotify. That was really interesting because iTunes was the last one to pick us up. iTunes were last, so we were making a joke for about 10 or 12 episodes going, when's iTunes going to pick us up? iTunes pick us up, and then they pick us up, and it's just like, cool, where do we go from there?
That's funny because the Anchor here, when I put my podcast on, it not only does it go around the world, but also right away it goes to Spotify, iTunes, and all that stuff. So it's really a good venue. It's actually a better outreach to the audience than an actual show like this, because I've watched, they give you the stats, and I have people from Australia, Germany, Russia watching. I'm like, is it Putin? Maybe Putin's watching. I don't know. It's okay. It's okay, my Russian brother. It's okay. But you have more wider audience and more base. But I like it here, Anchor, because I don't have to do all that. So I never understood why people pay for podcasting. I don't understand when there's so many free venues that are awesome.
Yeah.
They're really
I think the thing is with my podcast, it's opened up so many doors for us. Like our most recent episode, which was one of my favorite episodes to ever like sort of conduct as an interviewer, was we got to speak to an actor who had worked a little bit in America and was in a social distance production of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Jesus Christ Superstar back in the summer. An actor called Pepe Nefrio, who had done the US tour of JCS in 2019, early 2020. And, if it weren't for the podcast, that sort of thing would have never happened. So the fact that I've sort of had this chance to speak to people sort of in the hierarchy, really, so the people above me is just crazy. And, like just getting to do stuff like this and just try and promote Jesus bashing. Obviously, don't take that seriously.
Jesus bashing. Hey, listen, at this point, I mean, I think he's the most understanding person in the world right now. I mean, after I saw that Monsignor, whoever he was, get on TV and tell the Catholics, do not take this because of the baby 40-year-old dead embryo, and it's against your policy. I was like, wow, so you do have policies. Okay, but what about the little boys? I'm just saying, like, there's like, what's the priorities here? So it's all good. It's all good. Don't worry about that. God will understand. You'll be fine. Do your comedy.
With our last days of Christ, we just tell people to go into it open-minded. And the thing is, when we're doing it, we're doing 2 live stream shows, actually a week today at the time of recording.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a week. And we're doing 2 live streamed performances. Everyone involved right now, there's 3 of us involved. We are currently shitting a brick about it because it's going to be live streamed. Once it starts out live, we got no control. Yeah. Whereas in the previews, we can ask people for feedback at the end.
Right. Oh my gosh. This is gonna be
live stream, we can't do that. Once it goes out, if anyone gets offended, cool, good for you.
Yes. Well, speaking of offended, this will be the last question I ask because it's time to go already. But speaking of offended, is there any limit that you do have, like as far as race? Like, cause to me, I won't do racist jokes. Obviously, I mean it's just horrible. But are there any limits that you have at all when it comes to your comedy? Anything?
For me, I'm a pretty open person. I did used to have one joke which I've only ever performed outside 3 times, and I actually got told to stop doing it because it wasn't racist, but it was borderline. People were sort of like, this could be taken across. And it was a true story about my late granddad who, he left the British Army and somehow became a taxi driver. And there was a story where this foreign guy, to put it nicely, got in the back of his cab and said, this is back in the 70s, there was a thing called a sheet house where, sheets, you could buy sheets. And my granddad got very confused and he thought the guy told him to take him to a shit house.
Shit house.
Because of the accent. And because the guy in the back of the cab just saying, I need a sheet. I just told him straight out, and I know I'm going to probably get cancelled for this, but my granddad went straight back to him and went, well, take a sheet in the back.
Take a sheet in the back.
Apparently that's not good enough for bandstand shows.
Yeah, but what's racist about that?
It's the whole accent idea of pretty much my granddad just told him to take a shit in the back, but because the guy had an accent and thought he was saying sheet, this is just a whole podcast on its own.
Because I'm American, maybe because I'm American and I don't know.
Americans don't like. I don't think they get a lot of the British humour. Saying that, I got introduced on a show once, really recently. a Zoom show, an American Zoom show. I'm not going to name names.
Of course.
But they introduced me as, I kid you not, the white Kevin Hart. And I was just like, excuse me?
That's actually a compliment. But I know what you mean. Like, it could be, that's like, here's Tanya the black so-and-so. If I said the black so I guess it could be taken either way. Yeah. But yeah, I would laugh at that, because that's not an insult. They said you were the black Clarence Thomas, then I have a problem.
Yeah.
Or they said you were the
black once they said I was the leader of the Redcoats at one point, and I'm like, hold on, oh hell no.
The leader of the Redcoats, they're fucked up. That's messed up.
Right? And I've not gone back to that mic ever since.
That's horrible. The leader of the Redcoats, here he is. Well, you know, I mean, I'm trying to become more it's comedy, relax. But the one thing I just don't tolerate is out flat racist jokes. I can't co-sign, because it's like, to me, I'm co-signing. Like when the guy got up and said, he looked dead at me too. I was the only black person there. I was the only woman, two other women, 30 comments. I don't even know, 27, whatever. And he looks dead at me, and he was talking that Trump shit. And he goes, yeah, I saw Planet of the Apes. Did you see that? I'm going to rename it Planet of the Black People. I was like, okay, what part of that? You're lucky I'm a Quaker, first of all, because if I wasn't, I'd snatch you off the stage. Second of all, what part of that, is that supposed to be a joke? Like, what are you, because if you know, I don't know. I had so many things to say to that, but that to me is just blatant racism. You know what I'm saying? Like, something like
that had happened in like a comedy club in England. That guy would not just get banned from the actual comedy aspect, but the venue would ban him. Yes. And that night would most likely get shut down just because of that person. Yeah. And the audience would just pretty much go on a mafia state.
Well, I'm glad you guys did, because our guy, I had the comic stand up for me. I love him to death to this day. Him and a few others got up real quick and got him off stage, because I was like, I'm not letting you finish the set. Like, there's no way you're gonna finish the set. I don't care what you say. And we had got a shouting match, and someone thought he was gonna hit me, so they got it between us. One of my littlest comic friends who saved me. Thank you, Frankie, you're the best. But the venue owner kicked him out, so he was awesome. But the promoter knew he was coming. I found out later. And he knew he had racist material, and he let him get up there. That pissed me off. And so I don't really talk to them anymore, because I was like, what the hell do you think that's comedy? Like, you know, he said, oh yeah, he tries to be like, there's a guy named Aaron Berg and this other guy who say very racist shit, but they're very clever at it. So you don't know till 5 seconds after the joke leaves their mouth. So he was trying to be like them. I was like, by saying he's gonna name black people apes, like that's not I can guarantee you. Put it this way. This is how you know. Would you go to Harlem or the South Bronx, or would you go to Louisiana, like to any of the places where there's a high population, any area where there will be high black population of black people, and tell that joke? Exactly. If you say yes, no problem, tell it. But if you have to think about it, or be like, well, I would, but you probably won't want to tell the joke because you might end up dead somewhere. You know, I've never been back, and that's why I stopped doing mics in Westchester, because he was running them, and I see. You know, his girlfriend was at the QAnon, at the Capitol building, talking to the QAnon people. I was like, what are you doing? Are you down with this terrorist shit? Like, that's crazy. So I don't deal with none of these Westchester comics anymore. Just not Westchester comics. Some of them are awesome, but the person that does the stuff around here, because I just can't deal with racism. That's the one rule in comedy I have. No, you're not on my watch. So, I appreciate you so much, Kim Nash, for taking the time to be here and wake me up nice and early. Make sure I'm on my A game, because you know, COVID's like you can sleep till like 2 o'clock. So you're the best. I really appreciate you, and I'm gonna re-air it on Sunday. I appreciate you so much for taking the time to come, and so just hang out for a minute while I do my little exit. You guys, thank you so much for watching. I know it's what's today, Friday, and that's unusual for us. But we had to do what we got to do. Okay, we have to do. When you're across the pond, you got to make it happen by hook or crook. Okay. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. And I will see you guys Saturday at 5 p.m. I have so many shows. Saturday at 5 p.m. with 5 Black Comics, where I co-host with Carl Yard, Desmond Walker, Preach TV, and I'm missing somebody. Myself. Kevin Lee, magician Kevin Lee. That's right. Hey. So I'll see you guys Saturday. In the meantime, be good. And I'll be back on the town Sunday at 8 p.m. Don't forget that either. All right, guys. Talk to you in a minute.